Being single is an opportunity to discover who you truly are when no one else is around to influence your identity. Being single is your liberation. It's the space where you are free from expectations, the space where you don't have to compromise your time and energy and have more profound clarity of who you really are. It's about what you get to uncover, build, and become. Imagine waking up each day knowing that every choice you make, every dream you chase, and every boundary you set is yours alone. No distractions, no negotiations, just pure, unfiltered freedom to explore your desires and paving your own path. This isn't loneliness, it's your greatest power and biggest opportunity, time with yourself, for yourself. To become someone who doesn't just survive alone but thrives. When you embrace it, you'll realize that this is your foundation, the place where you grow so solid, so whole, that you'll never need anyone to complete you because you'll already be everything you needed. A lot of people rush into relationships not out of love, but out of boredom. They're not searching for connection. They're running from their own emptiness. It's easier to latch onto someone else than to confront the question that terrifies them the most. Who am I when I'm alone? But here's the truth. Being single is not a void to escape. It's a canvas waiting for you to create something extraordinary. It's where you stop numbing yourself with fleeting attention and start building a life so full, so rich, that you'd never settle for a relationship just to fill the silence. This isn't about distracting yourself or keeping yourself busy. It's about realizing that the life you've been waiting for starts when you stop searching for someone else to make it interesting. Being single isn't a punishment, it's a privilege. It's a time to take all that energy you've been wasting on scrolling through dating apps, replaying past heartbreaks, or jumping into another relationship just to fill the emptiness and pour it into yourself. The hobbies you never tried, the goals you keep putting off, the version of you that's buried under years of compromises and distractions. This is your chance to break free from the cycle of mindlessly chasing connection and start building a life that makes you so proud, so fulfilled, that you'd never hand it over to someone who doesn't deserve it. When you're single, there's no pretending, no performing, and no excuses. It's just you. And that's where the real work begins. The boredom you fear? That's the universe begging you to pay attention to yourself. To stop numbing the ache with shallow relationships and start asking, what do I actually want? What do I need to feel alive? When you embrace being single, you stop waiting for someone to save you, entertain you, or complete you. You step into your power. You stop being someone who waits and become someone who creates. Relationships, especially the ones you're tempted to jump into quickly, often act as distractions. They feel good. They're supposed to. They feed the part of you that craves validation, affection, and the illusion of completeness. But here's the thing. No one else can complete you. That's not their job, and it's not a fair burden to place on them. When you enter a relationship without being fully rooted in yourself, it's not love, it's dependency. And dependency is fragile. It will break at the first sign of strain and stress because it's built on need, not strength. Being single forces you to cultivate that strength within yourself. It teaches you to become your own foundation so that when and if you decide to let someone in again, you're not leaning on them to hold you up. You're walking beside them as an equal. The temptation to be in a relationship often comes from a fear of missing out, a fear of being alone, or a fear of sitting in your own silence. But ask yourself, what are you running from? What are you hoping the next relationship will fix? If you're honest, you'll realize that it's not the relationship itself you want. It's the feeling of security, the validation or distraction it provides. But those are things you can and must provide for yourself. Being single is not a curse, and it is not a bad thing at all. It's an opportunity for you to cultivate those skills. If you skip this step, if you shortcut your growth by jumping into something that feels good, you're setting yourself up for the same cycles, the same disappointments, and the same heartaches you've been trying to escape. You'll keep repeating the same life lessons until you learn from it. There's also something deeply powerful about knowing you don't need anyone, that you are enough just as you are. It's liberating to wake up and know that your happiness, your peace, and your sense of purpose are entirely within your control. No one can give it to you, and no one can take it away. When you rely on someone else for those things, you're giving them power over your life. Why would you willingly give someone that much control? Why would you let someone else dictate whether you feel whole or not? Being single is your chance to reclaim that power, to own it fully and unapologetically. Here's the harsh truth you might not want to hear. Jumping into another relationship won't solve anything. It might feel good at first, but it's a temporary high, and when it fades, you'll be left facing the same unresolved parts of yourself you've been avoiding. And then you'll have the added weight of another person's emotions, problems, and expectations on your shoulders. When you haven't built a solid foundation for yourself to be able to handle everything that a relationship comes with, the problem will only repeat. No matter how many times you jump into a new relationship thinking it will be different, is that what you want? Or would you rather use this time to peel back every layer, uncover your core, and rebuild yourself into someone so solid, so self-assured, so self-sufficient and complete, that no temptation can sway you? Being single isn't just a phase, it's a crucible. It's where you burn away the parts of you that no longer serve you and forge yourself into someone stronger, wiser, and more resilient. Don't let the fear of being alone fool you into thinking a relationship is the answer. The only thing worse than being alone is being trapped in a life you didn't want. Someone who wasn't compatible with you, who doesn't truly see you, and you end up settling for someone because you didn't want to be alone and were too afraid to wait. Picture this. You settle for a partner who doesn't truly align with you. Someone who doesn't understand your feelings, your emotions, your dreams, your depth, or your soul. Maybe it feels manageable and great at first, even comfortable, but years pass, and that hollow feeling grows. You get married because it seems like the logical next step, not because it's what you truly want. Then you have kids, and the next thing you know, the shared responsibilities, the weight of it all, you realize you're in too deep. Now you're shackled down to someone you don't connect with. Raising children in an environment where love feels forced and happiness is rare. The dreams you had for yourself, long forgotten under the weight of compromises you never wanted to make. You wake up every day wondering how you got here, feeling more alone in your marriage than you ever did on your own. That's the cost of settling. That's the reality of choosing someone out of fear rather than intention. If you can't be content on your own, what makes you think you'll find contentment with someone else? A relationship doesn't fix the cracks, it amplifies them. Learn to sit with yourself. Learn to face your fears, your insecurities, and your shadows. It won't be easy, but nothing worth doing ever is. And when you come out on the other side, you'll realize that being single wasn't something you had to endure. It was the most valuable gift you could have given to yourself. It's an opportunity to build a life so fulfilling that no partner is ever a necessity, only a plus. Let's go deeper. Being single isn't just about self-discovery. It's about reclaiming your autonomy, which is the process of regaining control and self-governance over one's life, decisions, and actions, free from external influence, manipulation, or control. When you're in a relationship, even the healthiest one, there's a shared accountability, a constant negotiation of needs, wants, and compromises. That's not inherently bad, but it dilutes something fundamental: your ability to act freely and decisively for yourself. When you're single, your life is yours in the purest sense. Every decision, where you live, what you pursue, how you spend your time, is entirely yours to make. That kind of freedom is where you prove to yourself that you can stand on your own 2 feet, that your happiness, success, and fulfillment are not contingent on someone else's presence in your life. People often glorify relationships as the pinnacle of human connection, but they don't tell you about the trade-offs, the silent compromises, the small sacrifices that pile up over time. It starts with skipping a hobby because your partner isn't interested, or keeping yourself from saying something important to avoid an argument. or putting off a dream because it doesn't align with their plans. These things may seem small and dismissible at first, but they add up. Slowly, imperceptibly, you start shaping yourself around someone else. When you're single, you free yourself from that. You can prioritize yourself unapologetically. It's not selfish, it's necessary. If you don't prioritize yourself, who will? Here's a reality check for you. Being in a relationship isn't always the perfect rosy picture people paint it to be. It's not all just love and connection. It's a lot of work. Constant, exhausting work. Even the good relationships require emotional labor, compromise, and maintenance. The work is what keeps a healthy relationship strong. It takes two for a relationship to thrive. And if you're not ready, if you haven't done the work on yourself first, that labor doesn't lead to growth, it leads to resentment. Think of it this way. If you enter a relationship before you're truly solid in yourself, you're building a house on a shaky foundation. The cracks will show eventually, and the whole thing will collapse under the weight of unmet expectations and unresolved issues. You don't need someone to complete you. That narrative is toxic and detrimental. It's a convenient lie society tells us to keep us chasing after connections instead of focusing on ourselves. You don't need someone to fix you because you're not broken, just a work in progress. You might feel like you're missing something, like there's a void that only love can fill, but that's not love's job. That void is your responsibility. The only way to fill it is by confronting it, by facing your fears, your insecurities, your loneliness head on, by realizing that the thing you're searching for in others is something you can only give yourself. There's a certain kind of strength that comes from being single, a quiet, unshakable confidence. It's the kind of strength knowing you don't need anyone because you did honest, deep work on yourself. You might want someone eventually, but that's entirely different. Wanting is a choice. Needing is desperation. When you're single and truly embrace it, you move from a place of abundance, not lack. You're not looking for someone to complete you. You're looking for someone to complement you. Jumping into another relationship might soothe the itch for connection, but it won't solve the root issue. Whatever patterns, fears, or wounds you carried into your last relationship will follow you into the next. It's like running from a shadow. It stays with you until you turn around and face it. Being single gives you the space to do that, to unpack the baggage, to heal, to grow. And yes, it's uncomfortable. Growth always is. But discomfort is a small price to pay for the freedom and peace that come with truly knowing yourself. Don't romanticize relationships as the ultimate goal. The ultimate goal is to build a life so fulfilling, so rich, that a relationship becomes a bonus, not a necessity. A cherry on top of an already sweet existence. When you're single, you have the time and energy to pour into yourself, to chase your goals with ambition, to learn, grow, and evolve without distractions. Use this time wisely and intentionally. Don't waste it chasing something that won't benefit you in the long run. The funny thing is, when you worked on yourself to the point where you already feel whole and complete, a lot of the times you'll naturally attract the right person to you without even trying to look for it. Being single isn't just okay, it's powerful. It's a statement. It's you saying, I don't need anyone else to define me, complete me, or make me feel whole. And when you can honestly and truly embody that, when you can look at your life and say, this is enough, you become powerful. Relationships can wait. Your growth can't. Don't forget your worth. Good luck, my friend.